Jackson Hole, Wyoming, our own little slice of heaven on earth. But it wasn't always this way. Some say it began over 6 million years ago, when the Earth's crust began to stretch and give way to the youngest range in the Rocky Mountains, the Tetons, Mother Nature's crown jewel, and the epicenter of human performance, the big mountain throwdown, as it were. Their beauty is boundless, their bounty endless. Today, we find ourselves at the foot of this range, armed with an idea, fine-tuned and evolved into the highest echelon of competitive snowboarding. This is natural selection, where the best men and women snowboarders in the world are free to roam, where fresh tracks will write history, where billions of years of evolution will harmonize with the unbridled creativity of humankind. These mountains may be ancient, but we're just getting started.
Good morning from magical Jackson Hole, Wyoming, as the sun rises on the most anticipated day 2 of the YETI Natural Selection event here from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. As you can see, the mountains are awake. Over 4 feet of snow falling in the last 4 days. And while, yes, the world's greatest snowboarders on earth are here, nature, Jackson Hole itself, this mountain is the star. Good morning, everybody watching around the world. Day 1 of this event reverberated around the world, and you said, yes, we are here for it. We are here for this progression of snowboarding called natural selection. My name is Salema Masekela, and I am joined to my right by Tom T-Bird Monteroso and Mary Walsh, former editor and senior editors of Snowboarder Magazine. I could not ask for smarter, more knowledgeable snowboard insight on this incredible day. I mentioned at the top 4 feet of snow that has fallen in the last 4 days. How is that going to affect our course?
It's going to affect it in so many ways. With those features that were built over the course of the last 2 years, more snowfall, it's going to change landings, it's going to slow things down. The riders are really going to have to adapt today here in the finals.
Here at our host set, it's about 6,300 feet, but if you take that Teton chair up to the start of the course, you are at 9,300 feet very, very quickly. This is Jackson Hole.
There is no better place than Jackson Hole for providing the terrain and just the facilities to really put this thing together.
Where Jackson's located, not just in the Rockies, but also here in the Tetons, it's just really ideally positioned with the aspect that it faces to the east and consistent snowfall. I mean, those couple factors are really important to us.
Jackson Hole Mountain Resort is a great place to kick off the natural selection tour because really the very first natural selection was born here.
The bold origin story of Jackson Hole, I think, is also kind of synonymous to really where we're trying to go with this event. We've spent the last 3 to 4 years on bringing this event back, and the reason being is I think the uniqueness and ruggedness of the terrain is something that we're looking for. On top of that, it has a really consistent snowfall every year.
We get tons of snow, and that just leads to really great snowboarding. Like, it's just between the terrain and the snow quality, there really is no better place.
I think if anything, Jackson Hole, it's big country out here. Its location here is pretty unique, and kind of see Jackson as a bit of a futuristic kind of outpost. It's a wild place.
A wild place with a powerful energy, as you see 50 or so hand-built structures into this natural face of the mountain.
This is so exciting. I mean, we're about to see a fantasy league level of rider head-to-head matchups right now. I mean, coming off of day one and the excitement that we saw, today is going to be kind of crazy.
To see people reposting and reposting over the course of the last few days, being like, what have I witnessed? Is this where snowboarding is going? The answer is yes. How about we take a look back here at YETI Natural Selection?
Welcome to all of you around the world. We are here to make history.
And it is about to get very, very real right now. Dropping first in this contest is not a desirable drop spot, but Gigi just stepped up and he said, you know what, I've done this before, I'll drop first. Gigi Ruff kicking it off in stunning fashion. When I think of Austin Sweeten, the first word that comes to mind is speed.
Austin Sweeten takes the win. Sweeten will head into the quarterfinals.
He's choking on powder.
It's so deep.
Blake Paul versus Elias Eilhart.
Starting things off with a half cap into a backside 360. Huge on Lando's hip. That's about 70 feet to the landing. Back seven.
Blake with the win, you called it.
Ben Ferguson versus Bodie Merrill.
That right there, that Miller flip over the pillow was my favorite trick.
Ben Ferguson.
Huge backflip. Ooh, back seven. That was nasty.
Oh, there we go. That is the trick we want to see from Ben Ferg. Just busting out a method for the people right there.
Yeah, man. Congrats, dude. Thanks so much, dude. Dude, I hope you make it to the end.
And now we're going to get to see Sage Kotzenberg
and Victor De La Rue. I love that Victor De La Rue chose to go up against Sage.
Enormous half cab into the backside 360 tail grab.
Opening up with a gorgeous cab 5.
And this has officially become a nail biter. Sage Kotzenberg victorious over Victor De La Rue.
Right now, we are going to transition to the women's side of things. 4 heats, 8 women competing, and I say we have an all-star cast. To start things out, Jamie Anderson versus Hannah Beeman. Oh, that was beautiful.
Oh my, Jamie Anderson trying to jump down into the parking lot. Shots fired by Jamie Anderson. Hannah Beeman, can she answer back? Hannah Beeman staking her claim here at the YETI Natural Selection. Huge wildcat.
Beautiful landings. It's Hannah Beeman. She will move on. Robin Van Gyn, Zoe Sadowski, Sanat. That last toe side turn, it just makes you want to get out there and ride.
Those turns count. Zoe Sadowski Sanat. She is going gigantic.
Results coming in. It's Zoe Sadowski Sanat who will move on. Next up, we have Elena Hike and Haley Langland.
Send it, get the points, move on. Elena wins.
Anna Gasser, Marion Herty.
This is about to get super interesting.
All right, much better. Oh.
Goes down on the takeoff and falls over the backside of that cliff.
All right, but she's back up and riding. Marion Herity right now, she has the advantage.
I think she's in a really good spot right now because Anna's run wasn't enough to advance if Marion can put down a line.
It's Marion Herity who will take the win for that heat. All right, so here are your leaders from today that will move on to the finals day. Hannah Beeman will be going up against Zoe Sadowski-Sanat, and then Elena Height versus Marion Herity.
As we continue back into the back half of men's qualifiers, this is going to be fun. Eric Jackson and Mark McMorris.
That is the Eric Jackson that we know and love.
All right, Mark McMorris.
Wow. I mean, honestly, what can Mark not do, really? Oh, wow.
Hello, Tree.
That combination right there, I think that's one of the best back-to-back lines that we've seen today.
Oh, you smoked me. I never thought I'd get to compete against you. Yeah, seriously.
Chris Rassman versus Travis Rice.
This is Travis Rice's time to shine.
Chris Rasmussen just coming in and saying, hey, Jackson, I'm here.
It's like the best run ever. I kind of just forgot what I was doing for a minute. I'm coming for your next run.
Travis is fired up.
This is the tiebreaker we only could have dreamed of. So close.
We're going to get to see Travis ride.
Here we go. Nils Midnett versus Pat Moore.
All right, so cab 5.
A beautiful method right there. Starting off with a really smooth 3. Heading into the second jump with some speed. Oh, man.
Front 7.
Wow.
That was ridiculous. And he put down the best run of the day.
Journey Stock and Mikkel Bang.
And here goes Mikkel. Oh, wow.
God.
Finding that touchdown so effortlessly. That was beautiful.
It is official. Mikkel moving on.
Those were finals level runs in qualifiers.
Incredible.
I wish it wasn't over, but I cannot wait for day 2.
It is finals day here on day 2, YETI Natural Selection. We get into the men's quarterfinals.
Take a look at this. Austin Sweeten versus Blake Paul. Here we go.
Austin Sweeten, this is the guy you want to kick off this event.
Blake Paul drops into the course. There are few riders that combine the spontaneity and flow that he has on a snowboard.
Blake Paul getting the edge. Ben Ferguson versus Sage Kotzenberg.
And there it is, the cab 9, potentially trick of the day thus far. Ben Ferguson going for that underflip. This is a whole new line for Ferg.
And you know he is stoked to drop a full back 720 to put the period on that. Ben Ferguson moving on. The most hotly anticipated battle, Travis Rice, Mark McMorris.
Huge backside rodeo. That was quintessential Travis Rice. Gigantic cab 9, little trouble riding out there. Mark McMorris, if you're talking about riders who embody snowboard competition, you're looking at him right here.
Torch passed. No one's going to forget that Mark McMorris took out the GOAT.
How solid is this dude?
Mikkel Bang versus Pat Moore. 2 Supreme style masters. Pat Moore.
There's that back 7.
If there's anybody who just eats, breathes snowboarding, it's Pat.
Mikkel Bang, a switch method into POW. Arguably the hardest trick in snowboarding.
Mikkel's in shock.
I think he got it for that switch method.
Well, we knew that they were going to come out firing, and they have. These riders showing why they are the best in the world.
A Final Four for the ages.
Indeed, and now we take a look at that women's bracket, Mary.
So we have Hannah Beeman, Zoe Sadowski-Sinnott, Elena Height, and Marian Erdi. They made it through.
Day 2, it is on here at the YETI Natural Selection.
And it is the semi-finals. Zoe Sadowski-Sinnott and Hannah Beeman.
Oh,
Ooh.
coming up a little short. She went a little slow on that rotation, didn't get the wildcat around. Zoe's blown my mind. I didn't think we'd see such powder landing prowess out of her.
It will be Zoe Sadowski-Sinnott who will move on to the finals. Next heat, Elena Height, Marian Hardy.
Ooh, coming up a bit short right there.
Marian Harty, she's got a lot of speed here at the top of the course. So there you go, Marian Harty with the high score of that heat. That will put her in the finals.
I think there's probably a lot of side bets that just got lost. We were not expecting to see both of those heats pan out this way.
All right, we're gonna kick things off, go right to the top for the men's semifinals. Blake Paul against Ben Ferguson.
I gotta say though, after watching Ben's first runs, I think Blake is gonna need to step it up a little bit.
I mean, he's got such good style. So fun to watch snowboard.
So the door's open.
We know Ferguson's got it in him. And here he goes, coming in switch into this first hit. Cab 5 looked like he was trying to poke it out and tap that tree.
Frontside 360. Ooh, nice
Wow.
powder turn. Nails that backside 720. Ben Ferguson comes in with an 85. He will move on to the finals.
Yeah, dog, way to battle. Closed up, dude. There.
Semi-final heat number 2. Mikkel Bang against Mark McMorris.
Oh!
Looked like he was just trying to run his nose across that rock and he went a little bit too hard into it. Good to see Mikkel back up and riding strong. Backside 5, that's one of the harder tricks I'd say in this course. Landing switch.
I didn't ruin my board.
Okay.
Huh?
Good.
Yeah.
All right, Mark starting off with a wildcat. Beautiful backside 7, getting a little bit off access.
Cool down, buddy. You too, man. Come on.
Over the course of the 2 days of competition, we've seen Mikkel taking some of the most unique lines and putting down some of the most unique tricks.
Here he comes into that hit.
Oh, he gets it!
Yes. And there you go. He did a backside 5 and he rode switch the whole way down until he found another hit to do a cab 5. If Mark's paying attention, he watched Mikkel's run. He knows that Mikkel put down that rock tap. Mark is not about to just lay back.
I'm nervous.
There we go. Back 7.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful frontside 720. Holds on to it.
This is a nail biter.
This is a total nail biter.
Wow. Wow.
Look at those scores. Mark McMorris is your winner in Heat 2 of the semifinals, and he will be going up against Ben Ferguson in the finals.
Wow. I mean, this is amazing. That You know, never thought we'd see this matchup in competition. I know we've said it before, but once again, this is going to be a ridiculous finals.
You know, part of our mission statement is to, motivate people to forge a stronger bond with the outdoors. For natural selection, Mother Nature, it's the main character.
Working with our lead sustainability partners, Conservation International and YETI, we acknowledge that the Natural Selection Tour is this amazing opportunity to sort of bring environmental consciousness to the main stage. We all agreed that in order to be leaders in this space, that we would make this tour 100% carbon neutral. We are really excited to be partnering with Jackson Hole Mountain Resort to host this event, as they have recently transitioned to being 100% wind-powered. As the tour's official sustainability partner, we are focused on reducing single-use plastic. We've brought in reusable bottles along with our hydration station water silo. We created limited edition drinkware with proceeds all going to Conservation International's reforestation efforts. Trees are Mother Nature's best carbon sequesters and engineers. And so we believe that if we are able to protect large tracts of these natural landscapes, that we will be able to keep carbon in the ground where it belongs and keep it from warming our planet.
All right, so we are going to move on, talk a little bit about the format as we head into the finals, because it is going to be a little bit different. We do now have the tiebreaker element of that.
Yes, the tiebreaker is back. I mean, this puts some extra heat into the finals right now. You know, this is a very consequential round for both the men and the women. And so they have that potential opportunity to have a third go, and someone is going to take 2 out of 3 in order to be crowned champion.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get right into it. This is the women's final here at Natural Selection. Marion Harity up against Zoe Sadowski-Synot. Marion, the 3-time freeride world champion, will now be showing us her skill set here at Natural Selection. Let's hear a little bit more from her.
I grew up near to Champs, and now I'm living close to Chamonix. And the mountains are crazy. It's about big mountains there. I think the mental is the most important in our sport, because if you are the body ready for that and not the mind, it's not good for you. And for sure, I like to work on the mind for that.
Well, whatever she's been doing, it's been paying off.
I gotta say, this is a huge contrast in approach to how these riders ride this course. Marion Harity dropping in now, of course, takes a little bit more of a big mountain approach to it, whereas Zoe Sadowski-Synot is the freestyler. So Marion making her way down this course. The goofy-footed rider from France, grew up riding Chamonix, and coming up a little short on aircraft carrier right there.
But you can really see like her strength on her board, that she can pull that landing through. Not quite on that one, unfortunately.
If I could critique one thing in Marion's semifinals and the first run of finals, it's that this is an all-mountain freestyle contest, and she is not grabbing her board on a lot of these straight airs. So how Zoe Sadowski-Synot answers back right now, if I'm Zoe at the top, I'm thinking, okay, tricks. This is going to be about tricks, is how I'm going to win this title.
Well, and we've already seen from Zoe, too, like she's been attacking this course. That first run she did in quarterfinals on day 1, she was going so fast and so big, and then she was implementing her tricks. So, but right now we're looking at Marion Harity's first run. She's finishing things up.
So, you know, 2 falls in that run. She was going fast, but there is opportunity for Zoe to come in. If she can put down a run, like T-Bird was saying, that has a couple solidly landed freestyle hits, she is going to be rewarded for that and in this matchup today.
Okay, so Zoe Sadowski-Synot, she was the wild card that came into this event. She told us earlier she's been having so much fun. It's been paying off. She's gearing up now for the finals. This is what she had to say.
So excited. Like, after scoping the course with a good crew and yeah, taking a look at all the hits, I'm super stoked, and yeah, just can't wait to ride the thing. My goal coming here was to do a wildcat somewhere off a hit that I've never hit before, straight into competition. So yeah, try to do that.
Zoe Sadowski-Synot about to drop in, our youngest competitor in the female field, only 19 years old. She's a relative rookie, both in the competitive environment and in the backcountry. But let me tell you, all of the females that rode in the natural selection, every single one of them said, I never overlooked Zoe Sadowski-Synot.
Well, if you watched her, if you've ever had a chance to watch her just hit big air jumps in a big air contest, she is so powerful, and she's really taken it to this course.
And that's what I'm talking about. She's grabbing her board. There's a huge wildcat from Zoe.
She hangs on there. That was awesome. She honestly, I think, must have one of the most powerful cores in all of snowboarding. She can really hang on to a landing. I've seen her go deep on big jumps right there. I mean, she can come through.
Getting a little slash in there. So Zoe is definitely taking a more freestyle approach here in women's finals at the YETI Natural Selection. Going for the Great Wall, backside three, and ragdolling in the landing. However, that's a strong run in comparison with Marion's.
Yeah, I do think that the judges are going to like what they see there because of that top section. You know, that's just, she was creative. She was solid.
Oh my God, I can't see anything.
And we've talked earlier, too, just about the overall appraisal of a run. And in this case, this was the first rider, Marion Harity, who dropped in. She had some airs, but was missing the grabs and the tricks that are needed in this freestyle backcountry event.
And you say freestyle right as Zoe Sadowski-Synot is flying through the air. Huge wildcat there, loops out a tiny bit, and then this backside 360 did not go her way. However, I'm going to give the run to Zoe.
And there you go, T-Bird. Yep, Zoe Sadowski-Synot with a 70 on that first run. That is with a fall.
Yep, that's a commanding lead going into run two.
All right, we are now going to get ready for the men's finals. And the format now, again, it's a little bit different than what we saw earlier in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, because we now have that tiebreaker element back into it, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, so the rider with the highest score from previous round will drop second. That is an advantage, and we are back into tiebreaker time, which really adds to the drama because it makes it a best 2 of 3 run format.
Ben Ferguson matching up against Mark McMorris.
And this is, I mean, this is a pretty equally matched in terms of these two riders' approach. It's pretty equally matched. They both have an incredible contest portfolio, and they've also established themselves as 2 of the best backcountry riders on earth. Ben is a former pipe rider. Mark is the current face of slopestyle competitive snowboarding, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, let's hear from Ben.
Winning this event would be insane. Like, even just being invited to this event, like, I feel special. I was driving to the resort today and just being like, wow, I'm like, here, this is crazy. I remember watching the like ultra natural and those back in the day and just being like, wow, that's a whole nother level. And so even just being here is insane. Winning the thing would be awesome. I've never actually like won a snowboard contest in my life, so done pretty good in some, but getting up on the top of the podium would be really special. But I'm here to have fun and shred, so I'm not too stressed.
And you know, it's interesting because common theory would lead you to believe that the rider who's dropping second has the advantage. The way Ben has been riding today, he might have the advantage.
Sometimes it's better just to go. You know what you want to do. Just go out and do it. Find your line on the course.
So Ben Ferguson on course. First run of men's finals, cab underflip. into that front side 540, and he goes down. But that's what we're talking about with the creativity. It's taking off switch, it's landing switch, it's finding your line because it is deep out there.
I imagine that Mark is watching that and going, okay, the door is open.
I mean, think of the riders that these two have already eliminated today. You know, Mark took out Travis Rice. Ben took out Sage Kotzenberg. That backside 9, that's why. Ben is on one today. He came with a different mentality.
You also have to think, these guys have taken a lot of runs leading up to this.
Without that fall, if I could speak directly to Ben, I'd say that's a finals winning run if you don't fall next time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Mark McMorris was up top watching what just happened from Ben Ferguson. He is arguably the best slopestyle competitor there's ever been. And now he is competing in natural selection. What a fantastic matchup. Let's hear directly from Mark.
My drive stems from wanting to be the best all-around snowboarder I can be, and my love for the backcountry. And I would never want to be narrowed down to as just a contest snowboarder. And I've always enjoyed being in the backcountry, and I have so much to learn still. And doing well at the Natural Selection Tour would be a huge plus for me. Just as I've never really competed all that much in backcountry snowboarding, and I really love it and want to transition my career that way. But to win the Natural Selection Tour would be like a dream come true. And yeah, I guess nothing's too far out of reach.
Yeah, and you know, you're looking at the most dominant slopestyle rider of all time. If Mark pulls this off and takes out Ben Ferguson in the finals, he enters a different stratosphere of professional snowboarding, which I did not think was possible before this event existed.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the last time we really saw him in the backcountry at a competition was 2013. He has gotten so much better since then.
He has put a lot of time filming in. Oh, wow.
Double wildcat from Mark McMorris, end over end double backy. He's in a different stratosphere right now. He's on another level. Frontside 720.
Catches a little bit of snow there.
So he did fall right there. Mark McMorris did go down, adding to the drama of this final, similar to Ben Ferguson. Cab 9 from
So that was new.
That was new, which goes to show you that Mark is always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead of his competitors.
Yeah, if there is a place that I feel like would feel dangerous to be in, it is dropping before Mark McMorris.
Oh, dang it. Nice back 9, dude.
I love that.
Yeah, that is so awesome.
Checking out the YETI recap here. This is Ben Ferguson. There's that cab 5 right there. That snow is deep into the front side 540. And that's where he went down. But he follows things up with a backflip into that insane pow slash. And the backside 900 on the Great Wall.
Oh, that angle on the Great Wall really shows you just how big that step down is.
And to land switch in this snow is hard.
And it's eerily similar, these 2 runs, because both of them had falls. Mark struggled a little bit more, even just riding down at the end of his run. So, you know, his flow is going to be compromised. Check out that double wildcat from Mark McMorris, but he goes down at the bottom of the landing, getting caught up in some tracks.
But you could really tell Mark wants this because he added some new difficulty to this run.
And the front side 7, he catches his nose twice.
The thing about this is a run like this for Mark is only going to make him more determined at the top. You know, these guys, They seem very casual at the bottom. They're friends, but they are fierce competitors.
Well, and it also goes to show you that even the best in the world, you're used to seeing their highlights and video parts and their landed runs on slopestyle courses. Even the best in the world take tumbles.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is Mark McMorris with the lead after that first run, 81.6. But still, those scores are relatively high with the falls.
It could have gone either way, in my opinion. At that point, that's just a coin flip.
The Natural Selection Tour is the first of its kind, showcasing the world's top men and women riders, from Olympic icons to big mountain legends, as well as emerging snowboarding superstars. Naturally, it's fitting that an off-road icon such as the Ford Bronco Sport is on board as well. The Natural Selection Tour is the first competition of any kind to partner with Ford, featuring the Bronco Sport, and both the female and male overall tour winners will receive an all-new vehicle. With Travis as a newly minted team ambassador, he took the Ford Bronco Sport out for a spin earlier this week.
See how this thing rides.
The road to Alaska on this tour. 6 finalists from the first 2 events are going to advance to the finals at Tordrillo Mountain Lodge in Alaska. From Jackson Hole, top 3 men, top 1 woman, and from the Baldface event, 1 man and 1 woman in this inaugural Natural Selection Tour. Of course, this Jackson Hole stop brought to you by the fine folks from YETI. We had a benediction this morning, some church, if you will. Austin Sweeten praying to the sun gods and saying, please, sun, come out. And here we are on these final runs, and we got some sunshine, boys.
And the entire dynamic of this event changed, as it does any good powder day when that sun comes out.
Yeah, from no depth to just a whole vision of what is possible. We just got a glimpse of that in the final runs. Makes you understand why this course was built the way it was, and we are seeing it ridden in the way that it was intended. We showed you those beautiful shots of Jackson Hole and the Teton Range. How is it that nature does its thing that allows us to play in this way? Let's learn.
You know, here at Jackson Hole, we are inbounds, but we are in a section of closed terrain that we've been managing for the event.
Travis's vision led us to use this terrain specifically. The fall line and the runouts of that pitch are exactly what we're looking for.
Fill that in and make it.
What he has in mind and what we've been doing is accentuating the natural terrain, utilizing natural lips and making transitions where there wasn't any to begin with. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better venue.
What we're doing here is not standard avalanche mitigation techniques. So for the course specifically, steep areas like the landings, we're getting in on top of those after every storm cycle and manipulating the snowpack.
We're using the special vert snowshoes in a pattern kind of like an egg crate.
To sort of stomp out and take out any air pockets or sun crust.
With time, you get this really stable, extremely soft landing that's just like landing in air.
Obviously, a lot of inherent dangers in the backcountry. On the course, we've done a lot of work to mitigate all those hazards. Riders will have a transceiver. We've got a drone crew who are eyes on the whole time. We've got ski patrol staged at the top ready to respond. We're feeling pretty confident in the snowpack. We're confident in our safety plan. And I think we're going to have a real solid, safe event.
When you're the COO of Natural Selection and you have a degree in quantum physics, between that and Travis Rice's vision, it makes you understand how this course comes to life. And our thanks to the fine folks at backcountry.com. It's been so interesting watching the dynamics at play as we get ready for run 2 of the women's final, with young Zoe Sadowski-Synnott putting on a clinic in that first run from a technical freestyle ability. It'll be interesting to see where Marion, who is, I mean, she is a champion. She comes in here 3-time defending freeride mountain champion. She's going to have to do something different if she wants to win this final.
And she's already a little bit in the back seat. So if I'm Marion right now, I'm like, hey, this could be my last chance to be crowned Natural Selection champion. So you got to throw it all out there. You got to try some tricks.
Yep, you got to push the tie break.
And that is not a good start for Marion Erdy going down on the first feature. However, if we've learned anything from this new format, it is that falls don't necessarily matter as they do in traditional contests. So get back up, put your best foot forward, and try to just start accumulating points. So flowing through the course, popping off the side and going down again.
Yeah, it looked like that one kind of snuck up on her, and I'm getting the sense that she's not as light on her feet right now as she was hoping to be.
But tossing out a backy.
Right, she's not giving up.
So Marion Erdy, right now, if I'm Zoe Sadowski-Synnott up top, though, I'm sitting there going, all right, I could win this thing.
From wild card to finals, and now looking at potentially standing on the top of the podium. It's a big journey Zoe's been on. Let's see how it ends up for Marion here as she comes into the corral.
Marion Erdy knew what she needed to do, and
but thus far, Zoe Sadowski-Synnott has been the best female rider at this event, and that's why she's in the position to potentially take a victory lap here in finals.
I think it's pretty easy to say that a lot of people underestimated Zoe coming into this competition.
Zoe did not underestimate Zoe. I saw her getting a back protector this morning that she borrowed from Austin Sweeten, and she clutched that thing like she'd just been given gold. And you wonder what that does for her confidence.
I mean, her confidence has to be through the roof right now. She is going huge. Massive tail grab. And there's the goal she came into Natural Selection with, the Wildcat on that huge feature.
Let's call this what it is. This is the Natural Selection Championship victory run.
100%. Zoe Sadowski-Synnott is reintroducing herself to the snowboard world. She's not just a big air rider. She's not just a slopestyle rider. She is an all-around incredible snowboarder. Backside 360. That's the cherry on top. That's the best run we've seen today, and that was her victory lap.
I don't think there's any secrets here. You can hear the crowd.
Save the best for last. A final full pull for Sadowski-Synnott and Marion Erdy right from the beginning.
I just think it was a really disappointing run for Marion. I don't envy being in her shoes right now. However, to make it to the finals, she did prove why she's in this field. But check out Zoe Sadowski-Synnott, that huge Wildcat, and then the backside 360. She's staking her claim in a whole new genre of snowboarding.
Went down on the backside 360 in that first run, got ragdolled, and then just goes back up and says, I know what I need to do it again. Didn't even, quote unquote, need to do it.
showing that strength, landing just right there on the back end of the knuckle, wheeling out with joy as she realizes that it's just a matter of it being official from the judges. We're looking at the inaugural women's champion of this natural selection.
Yeah, I was like, no way.
Numbers do not lie. A 96.
Unbelievable, Zoe.
That is heavy metal.
Zoe Sadowski-Sanat, again, 19 years old. She just rode through that course like she's been doing this for decades.
Look at the people in her wake. Jamie Anderson, Hannah Beeman, Elena Height, like some of the favorites coming into this event. And look who is standing at the top of the podium.
I mean, and that's
our wild card.
And that's what happens at an event that's never been done before, is the wild card can come in as the underdog and then just dominate. It was domination from Zoe Sadowski-Sanat, start to finish. She rode so well.
And like you said, she was a bit of a sleeper. Didn't have any of that pressure in being the wild card. And you think about like some of the names that you mentioned. Expectation is high when you're a legend, when you're the most decorated women's competitor, when you're someone like Hannah Beeman, who's been one of the people who paved the way for this style of women's riding. But Zoe Sadowski-Sanat saying, thank you for paving that way. I will take this torch and take the championship. And we'll check in with Zoe, who I believe is on headset. Hello, Zoe Sadowski-Sanat. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so stoked to land that last one.
We talked about your being a wild card and how that might have taken some pressure off. What was it like for you once you realized, okay, I'm coming here, and you see the field that you had to battle? What was your mindset?
Really, I just wanted to land some tricks that I was stoked on and land a full run. And I was just so honored to like be able to ride with my favorite snowboarders and learn a lot from them. And like, yeah, being here, I've definitely learned a lot about riding power and landing. So yeah, I'm just so stoked.
Well, Zoe, congratulations on being the best all-around woman in snowboarding here as the inaugural champion. Enjoy the celebration.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Phew.
So much more we are going to see from Zoe Sadowski-Sanat. You see the path that it took to get here. Again, Hannah, and how about Hannah Beeman? The loss, and then continuing to be there to coach her to the championship.
A rising tide raises all ships.
Amen. When we stop and think about what it's taken for this event to take place, I want to build 50 natural features, not in the backcountry, but in bounds. Hey, Jackson staff, are you with me? Can we do this? And they did it together.
We've had a blast working together, building stuff, so it can be a struggle, but it's a fun challenge. We're always solving problems every day, making things work so that we can get the whole course built in time and have a blast this winter on it.
It's looking sketchy with no snow, but it's gonna look awesome with the snow.
I imagine that's a takeoff. It looks insane.
You know, you see how much work went into this thing. It does improve the rideability, because before it was just this kind of cliff zone to pretty flat.
We're just trying to really enhance what's already here and just make sure that a lot of the dangerous aspects are smoothed out. We'll let Mother Nature take care of the rest.
We are in anticipation of Mark McMorris and Ben Ferguson's second runs. Mark McMorris in first. Ben Ferguson finds himself behind. Now, of course, remember, in this finals, we're not going back to the best score after the second run. All Ben Ferguson has to do is win this, and it is a new game with a tiebreaker. And I know at home even if you're a Mark McMorris fan, you're rooting for Ben Ferguson in this run so we can get more snowboarding.
And the pressure doesn't get to Ben. He's stood at the top of every major snowboard contest in the world. Let's see if he can put one down. Cab 540 into the front side 5. Ben Ferguson is flowing right now, popping back around a regular. And what's it going to be here? Beautiful method from Ben Ferg.
That trademark method. I think for the future, we should have a mandatory method in every run.
I agree. That's legislation I'm behind. Shout out to our drone pilots, the drone racers. As it looks like Ben Ferguson went down on the 720. We'll see it back in the replay.
And if I'm Ben, I'm getting 1 or 2 more pow slashes in there before hitting that rider corral.
All right, so we saw that fall from Ben Ferguson, a great run all the way through, style and technicality. Mark McMorris is not interested in a tiebreaker. He wants to slam a door. The most decorated competitor in snowboarding.
And as we've heard from competitors, like Sage earlier, mentioning that a win here would have been more important to him than another gold medal in the Olympics. I mean, this event carries a lot of weight in the snowboard world.
So cab underflip to start things off. Going double wildcat, and he stomps it. Mark McMorris is not holding back. He is not taking a victory lap.
Clean back 7. Getting pretty corked out. Having some seriously beautiful turns in between each of these hits. It looks like he knows exactly where he's going right about now.
And this isn't just a stay on your feet run. Mark did kind of go down there a little bit on that method. It's going to be up to the judges to call this one, but super strong run.
A little backflip at the bottom just to make them forget about that fall coming out the landing.
It's so hard to land in the spot. I think we probably caught it back.
In the YETI recap, is this the final run of the inaugural natural selection first stop? Ben Ferguson. Combo platter up the top was strong.
Cab underflip to frontside 5. The textbook Ben Ferg method. Into the back 7. He might have been trying to go back 9.
It looked like he was thinking 9, and I think he came around and saw the lip, realized he didn't have enough time.
Well, you heard Mark ask him, he said, in the bottom, was that 7 or 900 you're going for?
Yeah, so he opens up right there and tries to put down the landing gear, but his body is still rotating. And he goes back seat on it. But Mark also had a fall, so let's inspect what went wrong here. There's that cab underflip similar to Ben's run. The double wildcat, I mean...
And that's a chopped up landing. He couldn't have landed that better and ridden away more clean.
In the back 7, he stomps it perfectly. And just on a method right here, gets a little squirrely in the landing.
I'd say he had a much less consequential fall here. More of a wheelie bar, he kind of slid out, but Ben definitely went down a little harder.
And Mark put down his tricks. There is no question about that.
And it is official. You see the depth of the mutual admiration. But Mark McMorris, what else can this man do in professional snowboarding? And look at the road that he took to get here.
Coming into today with the most highly contested matchup with Travis right off the bat.
And think about what it does for Mark's confidence to come in today in the first few runs and knock out Travis Rice. For someone that builds their momentum based off confidence, it's almost over right there, right? It gives him such an advantage.
Well, we'll find out from the man right now. He's been in a happy mood the last 4 days, cruising around the mountain. And there he is, signature purple. Congratulations, first off, Mark. What was your mindset knowing that you had to start your day off against the GOAT?
Thank you, Salema. That was not a lot of sleep. Just focusing on what are my advantages against him, and there wasn't a lot stacking up, but I was able to ride the way I wanted to, and then he rode good too, so I'm glad it was a good fight, and a matchup I never thought I would say I was in or win. So it was a nerve-wracking morning, to say the least.
Mark, you and Ben obviously are super close friends, but you're also both very fierce competitors. What was that chairlift ride back to the top like after that first run between you and Ben?
Really, all we talked about is how lucky we are to be in the final, and that neither of us thought we would maybe even make it past the first round. You know, there's just such a stacked field, and anyone can rise to the occasion, but it was just such a treat to be there together and as really good friends, and then go head to head, and everyone to stay safe as we did. It's just a true treat.
Mark, as you made it through the rounds today, one by one, did the stress grow, or was it alleviated a little bit knowing that you had made it one step further?
The stress peaked when I had to drop after Travis, and it actually it disintegrated after, and it just became really fun. I was a little bit worried for Mikkel, but more or less when he hit the rock, and then he greased his run, and I figured there was no way I was going to be able to beat that, but I ended up doing my best run at that point, and yeah, just started to build and have more and more fun and feel less and less scared of getting lost in the trees.
Mark, X Games, Olympics, you know, so many events, you know, trademark events in snowboarding that you've won. What does it mean to be able to take all that, bring it here to natural selection, and get this win? What does this win mean?
This win is the biggest in years that I've had, maybe my biggest to date. When all your peers care about an event, you know it's the biggest one, and you saw how viral that qualification day went, and people love to watch this snowboarding, and this is the true essence of snowboarding, free riding with freestyle components, and wish Jake was here to watch us go nuts on this course, but thank you to Travis and Red Bull and YETI and the whole gang behind this whole event for making a true snowboard event.
Thank you. Congratulations to you, Mark. You are a fine ambassador of the sideways stance, and enjoy this win, sir.
Thank you, guys. Let's have some fun tonight.
Congrats, Mark. Nice work.
Cheers. Thank you.
Let's all make some turns.
Let's go.
Shall we? You at home, if you haven't gone snowboarding yet this year and you have the opportunity to, go snowboarding. Thank you, snowboarding. Thank you, everybody behind the scenes, for bringing this thing to life. And we will take you out with the Pro Bulin highlights from this inaugural, historical first stop of natural selection, brought to you by YETI. Take care, everybody.
She is going huge. Massive tail grab. There's a huge wildcat. Backside 360. That's the cherry on top. That's the best one we've seen today.
She is a very strong member of the future of women's snowboarding.
The inaugural women's champion of natural selection. Mark McMorris is not interested in a tiebreaker. He wants to slam a door.
So cab underflip to start things off. Going double wildcat, and he stomps it. Mark McMorris is not holding back. Give it up for Mark McMorris, your champion here in the natural selection.
This means a lot more than anything that I've ever participated in. This is a win for snowboarding, and I'm honored to be a part of it.